About 6 months ago, I started doing YouTube, and behind me is all the miniatures I've done since then. Not everything is base, but everything is painted. And there's over 60 models here, and I will take you individually from everything that I've done so far. So come on this ride with me. Let go. Let's start off with the Dungeons & Dragons miniatures. Miniatures that I believe are very good for the price. And I also believe that they are perfect palette cleanser projects. If you don't know what to paint, pick up an $8 miniature and have fun. I don't remember the name of these creatures, but a subscriber gave them to me. And as this was my first gift from doing social media, I figured I'll do it justice and do a diorama. Now there was a tree, but it got broken and lost, sadly. But I still think it holds up. Next we have the raptor. And I'll be honest, I didn't put any effort into this model. I simply wanted to paint after a long project. And the mimic. I loved this model. Gore and wood made such a fun project. Earlier this year, I discovered Trench Crusade, and I looked at some of the minis that they had, and I fell in love. And me being the horror freak that I am, and loving some good evil factions, I picked up some Court of the Seven Deadly Sins models. Now, if this project didn't grasp me the way that it did, I'd probably still be working on them. And while I still need some mud texture on some of their bases, I can put this on the table. But this army definitely taught me a lot, and was a great deal of fun. I learned how to do some more OSL work, and what I love most about it is how everything is different colors, but it all unifies at the end. The two highlights for this project for me were this Praetor, and I knew that I would love it, but at the end of the day, this Sorcerer was my favorite. I mean, who can beat a flaming sword? And luckily, I can call it good. Terrain, both set pieces and scatter, help drive those creative juices and aid you in your next projects. If you're feeling down about your current project, I'd recommend doing some terrain, either creating it or picking up something and just going to town. I made this altar while waiting for my Trench Crusade models, and I still love it. These are bits of my scatter terrain and ruins. Each project didn't take more than an hour. It's a good offset for that miniature grind. I went from having barely any Eldar at the beginning of the year to having a full-fledged force. There's something about these space elves that grasped me this year, both the good and the bad ones. But let's start off with the good. A lot of these models at the beginning of the year I had already on hand. And these Guardians, while chaff, they were pretty fun to do. But I love these striking scorpions even more. There was something to making them green and adding those bits of gore in between. And I'll admit, I spent way too much time on my test model. Now, I didn't finish every unit this year. At least not yet, and here are the remnants of those. This is my Warp Spider. I loved how the cream came out along with the red, and my Dire Avenger. Now, my Ranger solidified something along both my Drukhari and my Eldar armies, and that was bone-style guns. And while I love the capes, it definitely solidified something within these factions. Something that I tested on these Wraithguard was their weapons. Since their armor was already bony, that's not a joke by the way, I want to do something different for those weapons. I also finished a couple of these jet bikes, getting ready for that need for speed. And also the Rangers on bikes. I've had these in my collection for so long that I swear they were gathering dust. But it feels good to be able to put them on the table. And my Shining Spears. Now I wanted to put more effort into these, but sadly at the time I felt like it can only do so much with my talent level. But I worked on the Shining Spears before I worked on Moggen Ra and my Death Jesters, both projects that gave me confidence and skills that I definitely learned from. These three models, I did what any good artist should do. Not saying I'm good, just learning. But that technique was to copy other artists, just to see what they're doing and try and copy their style and integrate it with your own. And the War Walkers, I just wanted to use them in game. Now this Fire Prism, I tried to do something different. I wanted to replicate that white of the Shining Spears, but add a little bit difference to it, if that makes any sense. I definitely feel like it came out better. The other tank in my army is a Wave Serpent. Not the best, but for a Rhino variant, I'm pretty chaffed by it. Now something that I felt like I did a very good job on were these D weapons, incorporating a mixture of freehand and decals. My Wraith Lord, I enjoyed so much. I want to get more, but I don't know where I'm going to fit in that project. I definitely want to do more different colors and add to my Skittles Eldar. But the pièce de résistance, the Kaiju Hunter, Jaeger from Pacific Rim, my Wraith Knight. This took me some time to do, and I feel like I can already do it better. But I guess I'll have to get another one and check it out. Every day, thousands of miniatures are lost and forgotten, put into piles of shame and bound in boxes. These models deserve a second chance, and for a small subscription price to my Patreon, you might be able to make a difference by empowering painters to paint. So be the change that they want you to be, and subscribe to the Wargaming Frogs Patreon. Miscellaneous projects, either things I wanted to add to current armies, or things I just wanted to paint out of the blue. We'll get back to the full armies, but first let's look at these small little projects. First off, let's look at these two orcs, my Wolverine orc and my classic orc. Two projects where I love doing the skin on. An Emperor's Children Rhino, and various Space Marines, both good and bad. Chaos Ultramarines, Black Dragons, Blood Angels, and a couple of Death Guard. I can't forget about this Priest or this Guard character. Now I've dabbled with Age of Sigmar, but it wasn't until I picked up an $8 model at Target that I fully started to get an army. The Stormcast Eternals. And once I painted it silver, I loved it. My concept for the Stormcast Eternals was that everyone was a hero, and they hailed from a different region, using slightly different heraldry and colors for each one. The Dark Eldar, Drukhari, Evil Space Pirates. I fell in love with their sleek and sexiness. And I was also happy that I got to paint something teal. Pay no attention to this first raider. The sale simply fell off. But I loved making this teal and bright army. Very grimdark, incorporating elements of horror and brightness to this force, showcasing both the fluidity and the creepiness. Also, this cape I love doing, especially because it was when I was sick, and I got to go to town on this thing. But overall, this is the force, and I cannot wait to use them in game. We have the Tyranids. Wow, that's my biggest army. I didn't do that much this year. At least not yet. I did this Tyrann effects, and she was done in a full-length video here on my channel. I also did a simple paint scheme Tyrannid, an alternate paint scheme, a couple of Gene Stealers, and this Lictor. All things that I love about the bugs. And while this is what I've done in 6 months, I can only imagine how many more projects I will do in the full year. I'm still working on some Tyranids, some Chaos Knights, some D&D miniatures, and if you enjoy this content, give me a like. I plan to do more full-length videos. I live stream. I post daily shorts on TikTok, Instagram, and on YouTube. So if you're into this thing, please like, comment, and subscribe. With that being said, much love and peace!